Hi everyone, John here with that video that none of us really want to have to make at the moment, but I thought I ought to come online and tell you about some decisions and some news and a few of the ideas I've got for the sheer amount of free time I've suddenly found on my hands. And also some ideas for how to support some of the people in the folk community that I know are really starting to feel it. So first up, my news is that, as many of you will know, most of the gigs next week are now cancelled, with the exception of Birmingham and Bristol, both of which are going ahead as far as we know. But of course, things are changing rapidly, and I'm keeping my ear to the ground. And any news that I get, I will pass straight on to you. I wanted to say also a thing or two about this strange behaviour I'm hearing about. Thankfully, it's not happened to me yet, but it's happened to a few of my friends. And here's what happened, right? People are getting in touch with musicians and small venues and on social media, where else? And they're attempting to shame them for their cancellation decisions, giving them a hard time about it. And I just don't get that. I mean, what's that about? Why waste your energy? I mean, I get that you might be disappointed that a gig is not going ahead, a gig that you've been looking forward to. But believe me, as a musician and as a promoter myself, we're all looking forward to those things, and that disappointment and that frustration is massively shared. And here's something else that's shared, right? And that's the decision to cancel that gig. And especially in the traditional world, in the traditional folk world, where a huge amount of people who run things like gigs and venues are doing it out of a love for the music. It's a volunteer thing, and they do it because they have a passion for it. And you have no idea what their personal lives are like. You have no idea about their own underlying conditions. You have no idea about whether they're looking after somebody at home who has an underlying condition or an illness. What's the point? I mean, what is the point? It's so hard to make that decision. It took me days of trying to understand scientific reports, much like you have been, I'm sure. Of trying to read my own gut feelings about it. And in the end, it's a decision that's made as part of a community. You know, I don't want to come along and force somebody to do a gig when the bar staff or the lighting staff or any of these people have deep concerns about it going ahead. So less of that if possible. Thanks very much. I wanted to say a thing or two about a couple of venues in particular that I'm concerned about all the venues I had to cancel gigs with, but in particular, I wanted to shout out to Green Note in Camden, who've been really wonderful to me so far as a musician. They've put me on without, ever knowing if I'm going to bring an audience particularly, but they've given me that chance and they've given me their stage. And in this case, if you were going to come and see my gig at Green Note in Camden, and if you can afford to, and that's completely down to you. If you can afford to not request a refund, I'm going to make sure that all that money goes to them. I'm not going to take any of it, and that will help them just a little bit. And also, if there are gigs in the future that they're putting on that you like the look of, book now. It gives them some sense of security going ahead. Somebody else that I really want to shout out to is the Treehouse Bookshop in Kenilworth. I love them. They look like such a lovely place, and I was so looking forward to going and seeing them. And we were 2 tickets off selling out, so we will go back and we will sell out. But they've got this amazing thing that I really want to just sort of highlight, and that thing is that they do these little packages of books, as I understand it. And I think it's like a tenner or something like that, and you can have a mysterious little package of books that you don't know what's going to come in that package, but it could be all sorts. And at this time, when they're struggling, and you're struggling to find things to do, especially if you're in self-isolation, what better thing than receiving a package of mysterious books? So go online, and again, please don't ask for a refund if you can afford not to. Let's give them that music and keep that venue going, and go and buy some books off them online as well. In terms of what I'm going to do in the coming week, I was really looking forward to playing some Brummy songs to you that have not been heard, in some cases, I'm sure, in a century. I think I'm still going to play them to you. I think I'm going to record one a day and put my research that I've been doing about it out online. You can download those tracks. You can pay for them if you want to, or just listen to them for some light relief if that's what you'd prefer to do. But I'm going to try and start doing that from Monday, I think. So 5 songs over the coming week. And I'm also working with Whitchurch Folk Club that I help to run, and with Good Honest Music, the lovely agency who support me. And we're looking at the possibility of doing a live streaming concert. I'm not sure whether that will happen. I'm not sure how it'll happen or when it will happen, but it's something that we're really looking into at the moment. A pay-per-view thing in order to support some of the other artists who are on that agency, in that agency stable. We'll see. It may or may not happen, but basically at the moment, what I'm thinking is, music for me is a hobby largely. I have a regular day, 9 to 5 job, so I don't need the money in the way that other people do. I have some skill sets. I've spent my whole working career creating things online. I know how to create those things. I know a lot of people who can help to create things. So for this coming week, if I can help you out with anything, you lovely people in the folk world, if I can help you out with anything, just let me know and I'll see what I can do. I've got the time. I might have the skills. So that's what's going to happen. And I'm sorry if you're disappointed. Please don't shame me. Please don't shame anybody else. And just look after yourselves. Cheers.